Hi guys, welcome back to Chinese TCG Store. Today I have another market watch for you. But before we get in, let's go ahead and get through a couple announcements I have. So first off, I did go ahead and pick the winner for the giveaway that we announced. I think it was last week. And it's going to be Todd Schmidtetter. I hope I'm saying that right. But I've already been in contact with him since I was planning on doing this yesterday, but ended up doing a video with somebody else, so I didn't want to announce it on their video. So he'll be the winner of the Secret Rare Mystical Space Typhoon. And then besides that, keep an eye out if you are familiar with Team Sakurasao. We did a Starlight Rare Market Watch last night, or if we filmed it rather, and should be coming out today, I believe. Not 100% sure, but just keep your eye out for that. Should be pretty cool. But with that aside, let's go ahead and get into the Market Watch. I have quite a few cards for you today. I was actually planning on doing an opening today, but I haven't received Power Elements yet. It's supposed to come in today, but I also kind of wanted to do a market watch that's been long overdue at this point. So let's just go ahead and get in. First, I wanted to take a look at the OTS Tournament Pack 19. Skill Drain has come down in price around $48, which isn't too bad. If you want it, it's not bad. Fallen of Albaz is $39, which is pretty crazy to me. I'm actually looking to pick these up when we do get the subscriber bonus back event tomorrow, which is 10% back if you're a TCG player subscriber, which is always a nice event. And then Water Enchantress of the Temple is going for $42 for near mint, which is pretty good. Surprised this card's gone this low, but seeing that the ultra rare is now like $21, it's not too surprising. It also has a collector's rare, which we'll look at, I guess, later on in this market watch. But they're all kind of low in price, but now there's just kind of plenty of copies of this on the market. If you want one, it's not bad. I actually have one personally and pretty happy with it, other than there is a little bit of some issues with the card itself, but I think that's just OTS Tournament Pack 19 as a whole. Just kind of expect it to come with some defects. Next is Forbidden Chalice. This is a card that I said to keep an eye on if it got underneath the $2 range, which it is now. If you can come on here and get like a play set or two for under $2 a piece, I think it's really good. Don't expect it to hit anything crazy, but I think this card should be like $4 or $5, considering it's like the only hollow version now that's not gold rare or like the overinflated ultra rare, which is the original print. I think that's pretty much all of the foil versions of this card, other than the ultimate rare, of course. But yeah, I think this is a cheap version to get, because even the gold rares are like $5 or $6. I don't know if they probably calmed down a little bit now that we've got this reprint, but it's a good card to grab. I don't think there's anything else in here that I really need to point to investment wise. Next is Dark Ruler No More. So this is starting to see more play with people needing board breakers. We're not having issues with like people playing Scythe anymore, so you don't really necessarily have to play for Forbidden Droplets. You can just kind of wait till your main phase and drop Dark Ruler, and it's really good for breaking their board. There are some issues with Dark Ruler, like you're not going to be able to conduct your battle phase, I'm pretty sure. That's it. Haven't played this card in a while, so I can't remember what the drawback was, other than it not being like a quick play spell. Neither player takes damage. So yeah, you can still go through your battle phase. You can't do any damage to them, but you can still like beat over their monsters. But right now these are up in price. I told you to pick these up when they were like $7 because I thought it was really undervalued, considering all the reprints that we have are just commons. Up towards 17, bottoming out here towards 20. I mean, hopefully you got them at 7, because at this point, I don't know that I would buy it for 17, $18. It's just not worth it. Just go get a common, like if you need to play it. The commons are going for around 3 to 350 as well. Albaz ones are going for 4 for some reason. I'll tell you what, that Albaz Strike structure deck, I've always said this, it's not because the structure deck is good, not because of Albaz, but it's good because of all the staples that you get in there, like Dark Ruler No More, Extravagance, Effect Veiler, Ghost Ogre, Called by the Grave. I know there's some more, but those are like the ones that are coming to me right now. But yeah, I think the structure deck will end up being probably $20 I know it'll be more than $20, but $20 just based on these staples that you're getting in the set once extravagance and stuff starts to get bought up a little bit more. Effect failures always tend to be around $2 to $3. This is already at $4. I expect extravagance to be back towards $3.50 at some point. They're down to like $1.50 or something like that. But we'll look at extravagance as well. It's just not seeing as much play right now. Exchange of Spirit. So this is a card that's been getting bought out recently. And Secret Rare for Retro Pack is just kind of pretty much gone at this point. There's some foreign copies, but it's extremely expensive if you can find an English version. After that, we have the Sneak Preview Series 1, which I think maybe came along with Dark Legends. I can't remember what Sneak Preview Series 1 was. I was a kid probably back when this came out. But I did dig one of these out of my childhood bulk. Just one of the cards that I guess I had acquired somehow when I was a kid. So yeah, it definitely did come out when I was a kid. But it is almost lightly played. If you look at the card, there's no real issues with the front. A little tiny bit of whitening on the edges, but the back there is kind of a right on the line between, I would say, lightly played mod play as far as one corner being pretty whitened. So I did list it up as mod play, but whoever buys it's going to get pretty much a decent version of the card. I did list it for pretty high though, because I wouldn't be mad if I just kept the card, because I do like this card. I always thought it was cool. It was one of the few cards that I kept sleeved when I was a kid, luckily enough. Because like if you look at my blue eyes and stuff, those are all like destroyed, like been through the washer a few times. Dark Legends is like, I guess, out of stock, which is crazy. It does have a gold rare for $3 to $4 here, and then a common for $4. If I were you, I wouldn't buy this card though. It's just not very good. I mean, basically what it does is if you have 15 or more cards in your graveyard, you can switch your deck with and your graveyard, but it's just super slow. I guess if you were playing like a super graveyard reliant deck, that would be pretty good, but you also have a risk of decking out, but that's a lower risk. But I mean, somebody could, if they're playing deck out, that would be like ideal for them. I don't know. I think this is maybe a little bit of an overreaction. I think the card's interesting, and it's definitely a cool card to have, because there's not really any cards that I can think of that are kind of like it. It's definitely unique, but I don't think that it's ever going to see play. It'd be a very strange meta for this to see play. So if you have them, you might have them like me, dig them up, and maybe try to sell them while they're way up in price. Okay, so next I wanted to look at punks, because they just got recently bought up higher than they were before. And I think it's because people are kind of figuring out that punks are still going to be good during this format, even though we have, the power of the element stuff. This deck is really good actually, but we have the collector rare, Noah Punk Foxy Tunes up at 95, which is kind of where it's been for a long time. It's not bad, but it's not good either. Ogre Dance at 50. It's not worth it. I mean, both of these are one-ofs. I guess you could play this as a 3-of. Depends on like what kind of punk deck you're playing. If you're playing it as an engine or more of like a deck with other engines in it. I do play Foxy Tune as a 1-of, but it's just an engine in the deck that I'm playing it in. But Ogre Dance for sure a 1-of. The ultra rare is going for 38, lowest here, then going up towards 41. So if you have extra of these, like if you open Grand Creators, you might want to consider offloading them. I don't think they're going to go any higher than this. But at the same time, we're not going to get a reprint of this card for probably a long time. So if you are wanting to build this deck, it's not going to get reprinted anytime soon, unfortunately. Amazing Dragon, 40. I don't know that anybody really plays this card. I kind of do want it because you can play it, but there's just better cards to play. I think this is a level 11. There's just better level 11s to play. Deer Knight, which is really interesting, is up towards $12. I remember when this came out, I pre-ordered it for, I think it was like $5 or something like that. And then it went up towards like 12 to 14. And then it had come back down towards like the 4 to 6 range again, but now it's back up. But I would maybe wait. This seems like an overreaction. This is from Dimension Force, you know, so it's not old. There's still plenty of product out there. It's down to 25 listings. I would wait until listings come up towards like 50 or 60 or so. I do think this will come back down towards like 6 or 7. Ogre Dance Ultra Rares, $10. This was a card that I talked about getting when it was $1.50 when I saw what Punks were doing. And I picked up a couple myself. I've already sold them though. I sold them, I think, when they were like $5 or $6. I didn't expect them to go towards 10, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, if you have extra of these, you're not playing them, just go ahead and offload them. Even these are going for $2, which is insane. Z-Amins are going for like 50 cents. I'm surprised these aren't like $1 and change, to be honest with you. I think they were up towards $1 and change for a while, but now they're back down. That's really it. Just kind of wanted to showcase that. And, you know, if you're holding on to those cards and you didn't know they got bought out, you might as well just go ahead and sell it if you're not playing it. If you're playing it, you know, that's perfectly fine. I don't think that they're going to crash out anytime soon per se, but I do think this is kind of the local high point for those cards. So if you're planning on selling them, now's the time to do it. Next is Crystron Halqifibrax from OTS Tournament Pack 15. And this is kind of a gamble card here because right now it's at its lowest point, I think, ever. It's at 47.50, which is really, really tempting, but it's going to be like a 50-50 gamble because this card could get banned on the ban list and it would probably crash down towards like 25 to 30, maybe lower. I don't think it's going to go below 25 actually, but it's a gamble for sure. If it doesn't get hit on the ban list, it could go back up towards like 75 or 80 because multiple decks are playing this card. You have, let's see, you have Sprite playing this, you have Punk playing this, Sword Soul playing this, even though Sword Soul is kind of not as powerful now. I'm sure there's handfuls of other decks playing this card. But yeah, it's pretty crazy to see this card this low. But if you were wanting to pick this card up, regardless, I think now's a good price to get it at. Just I wanted to put that warning out there. Like, it's at that price, usually I would say it's a guaranteed, you know, to go up, but if it gets hit, it's not going to go up. Next is Guardian Chimera, Battle of Chaos. So I guess before I get into this card, I will say from tournament results, it looks like, I mean, people are expecting Despia to kind of fall off, but Despia is kind of getting a reemergence here. I think it has some good interactions with the current format, or the newer format, I would say, since we got Power of the Elements. And I think it's doing better than people thought. So a lot of cards are rebounding, and we'll cover a couple of them. But this is one of them. It was down towards like 35 to 38 bucks, but now it's 50 lowest, and then we quickly go up to 60, 70, 75. I actually didn't realize it bottomed out at 80 on the first page. That is crazy. So that would be, if it hits 80, that would be the highest point it's ever been. Really interesting. I do have 2 copies of this, but I am set on playing this deck for this format. So if it goes to 80, I'll be very tempted to sell, but then I'll have to sit out because I won't have a deck to play. Not one that I would want to play right now anyways. I have several decks built, but I'm really set on playing Despia. Next is branded opening. Okay, I guess before I move on though, so if you have extra of these and you're not playing this deck, or you had built Despia and it's sitting on the sidelines, now you're trying to build tier elements or sprites or what have you, I would consider listing these up for 55, 60 bucks. Maybe if you had, like, let's say 2, which is what you would need to play Despia, maybe list one for 55 and list the other one at like 70 and see if it sells. That's always a good strategy as well. But I wouldn't just hang on to this just to hang on to it if you're not playing it. Okay, branded opening. Lowest 15 here. And this is actually, it looks like it's more copies that came online since yesterday because there was only 1 copy left yesterday at 16 before it hit 20. But it does quickly go up to 21 here and bottoms out towards 25, which is crazy to see this back at the, you know, near the high. I think the high for this card was 28, 30 bucks. So it's heading back up there. I do have finally got my 3 copies of this. I was able to pick them up for 12 bucks a piece, luckily. And that's kind of I was playing the patience game because I wasn't like desperate to pick this deck up. I had most of the deck since the structure that came out. I've just been picking up cards as I can get them for a good deal, just because I don't want to overpay for super rares that are about to get reprinted. But been enjoying the deck. But if you have extra copies, again, just get rid of them if you're not playing the deck. Illusion of Chaos. Secret Rare, it's a card that I expected to go up when we got the reprints of Magician Souls, but like what I've talked about before, since the Magician Souls were short printed and they're really expensive still, it hasn't really led to a bunch of people just trying to pick up the package just to have. So as it has been going up, but it's been a slow climb. And it is coming towards 40 now, so it's 33 lowest, and then it jumps up to 40 pretty much because you have $5 shipping. So finally getting back up toward that 40 mark. I was expecting it with the reprint to hit around 50. I don't know that it's going to still do that with how expensive the Magician Souls reprint is. But if you got these for 28, you're doing pretty good. Just I would hold on a little bit longer and see if you can, at least get 40 for it if you were just trying to flip those. Starlight Rare is still good. I wouldn't be trying to flip the Starlight Rare. Like, just if you bought that, I would just hold on to it. Next is Maxx C. So this is kind of banless speculation, but some of these copies have been going up quite a bit in price. Namely, the Ultimate Rare now is the lowest is $900, which is crazy because I think over the last year you could get like a lightly played for $550, $600. So this is definitely up in price. Crazy to see. There's only 13 listings, and of course some of them are going to be foreign, but just something to keep your eye on if you have them. The secret rares are still up towards like $100 for like a first edition. They haven't really changed since the last ban list. Ultra rares are up towards 30, which I think isn't too much of a change. Same with the rest of the versions. Like these are at 18 still. Commons still like 13, and golds are 15. I will say Maxx C used to be my favorite card to buy a few play sets of every time we would get a ban list, because they would always be high priced right before the ban list, and then people would dump them when it didn't come back. And you could get these for like pretty much the super rare, the gold rares, you could get for $7 to $8 every time, and then flip them for 15 to 20 bucks, sometimes 25, right before the next ban list. It was just such an easy call, but now it's been kind of leveling off where there's not really an opportunity to do that. I think you'll usually see like the gold rares kind of bottom out towards like 15, for example, and then maybe hit towards like 20 or 21 right before the ban list, maybe not even, maybe like 18. So there's less opportunity. Used to, you could just easily double your money every time, but keep your eye on it. I don't think it's going to come back from the ban list, to be honest with you. There's been so many like perfect opportunities for them to bring it back, and they didn't do it. So I just kind of feel like if they were going to do it, they would have already done it by now. Visa Starfrost, Dimension Force. This card originally got bought out when people figured out it was gonna kind of intertwine with the tier limits. We can look at the history here. Let's see if it'll let me click on it. So yeah, it originally was around $8 on release. I picked up 2 copies, and then I sold them when they got bought up towards like 16, 17. And then they kind of mellowed back out towards, I think the bottom was 11, and never went back down to $8, but it is now back up at lowest $17, bottoming out towards 17 as well. It's gonna be interesting to see if this card sees play or not. I think this card is really good, but I think it was much better when we had Auroradon. I had this combo worked out where I could just like tag one of the tokens out for this, and it was just really good. And yeah, I don't know, it's still a good card, but I don't know that it is as good as when you could do combos with this card with the Auroradon tokens, but definitely something to still have. I did pick up my copies when it went back down towards like 11, just to have, because I really like the artwork as well. I think the ultra rare is still like 20+ bucks as well, but something to keep your eye on. Okay, next, Artifact Lancia, secret rare. If you look at the history of this card, it's pretty up and down, but historically over the last year, since you look at since last October, it's been above $8 for the most part, and then it's having spikes up to like 13, 15, but it's had a long leg down where it just hasn't seen play, and it's currently sitting at around $4 or $5, and if you get lucky, there's a couple here for like $3.75. So I don't know, maybe you could find a seller that has like 3 or 4 copies for like $4 each with that 99-cent shipping. But I would definitely, regardless, I would definitely pick these up. Under anything under 5 is really, really good. It's just guaranteed money. It's going to go back up towards $8 to $10 for sure. It just kind of depends on the format. Lancey is kind of always good too, but just depends. Like Lancey wasn't really too good last format. Really, the only deck that it was really killing was Flunderies, but Flunderies was still able to kind of play through it, even though they couldn't like make their optimal board. It just wasn't shutting down. Usually, like with Lancey, the idea of playing Lancey is you want it to completely shut them out of their turn, and people have kind of been able to play around it. But there's going to be formats where this is going to shut people out again. I remember with Tri-Brigade, like this card was just, it was just instant death. That's why this card was really expensive during the Tri-Brigade format. Okay, so next we're getting closer to the end here. I wanted to look through Grand Creators, Collector's Rares as a whole to kind of see where the price is at. I haven't looked at these cards in forever. We will skip over the P.U.N.K stuff since we kind of already looked at that. But starting off here at Rite of Air Seer, around $100, not too bad. I honestly don't think it's really worth it, but it's not a bad price if you want to go in on it, because I think it was up towards like 200 on release or something like that. But up to you. It still only has the ultra rare as well, which the ultra rare is around 40. Water Enchantress at 70. I think that's fine. I do think that these are going to be higher quality than the ultimate rare. Even though I like ultimate rares better, just because I think the print quality was better in this set than OTS 19. I mean, the print quality in OTS 19 is like a new low. But $70, not too bad. It's definitely, this card was like 225 on release, or maybe even up towards 250. We're going to skip over these. Michaelis at 70. It's definitely up. This was like around 35 on release. Personally wouldn't buy it at this point, but it's not like extremely expensive if you want to get it. It still has a market price of 83, so it's technically down a little bit. But it could definitely go up if Exosisters start seeing a little bit more impact, like in the format. These booster boxes are still going for 70. This is one of the best sets to open, honestly. It was just kind of like almost guaranteed value. Packs 60 again. I mean, I'm just not too excited about. I like the Exosister archetype, but I'm not like so excited about it that I would invest into top rarity. And I think that's probably how a lot of people feel. I just don't think like the Exosister players are the type of people that are going to be buying max rarity. But I could be wrong. It is also like you have to think about it being like kind of a waifu deck, so maybe people would want max rarity. I don't know. E-Telly 62, 60 to 65. I still would just much rather get the ultimate rare, but I would understand people want the collector rare just because it's going to be probably a lot easier to get one that's in really good shape, just because it's new, of course, and the ultimate rare is really old at this point. And the ultimate rares are, you know, they're kind of old enough to have been oxidized, and they're kind of just not as tough anymore. But the ultimate rares look amazing. Sophia at 50, I don't really have too much to add to the Exosisters. Torrential Tribute at 46 to me is really low. I do think this card should be more towards like 70 or 75. So if you were looking to pick these up, I think it's a good time to get them. It's just a great card, just needs the right format and the right deck to really play this. Pretty good with Outlook. Trying to think what other decks played this. This was seeing a lot of play last year, but I think Outlook was kind of the main deck playing this. And I think some other decks were playing it. I just can't remember which ones were, but it could always come back. And even if it doesn't come back, which is highly unlikely, it's still going to see play in past formats. And it's definitely the highest rarity. I think the next highest rarity is an ultra rare. Maybe, no, I think it's a secret rare. Yeah, it's definitely a secret rare, but definitely a good one to get. And then Solemn Strike is going for 40. I know a lot of people don't like this card. I personally want them because for $40 to me, that seems really cheap, especially when you look at the ultimate rare being like 350 plus. And yes, the ultimate rare is 1,000 times better, but I mean, other than the ultimate rare, you just have secret rares and ultra rares. And I think this is a good budget, high rarity version to get if you wanted it for your collection. I actually think it looks pretty good. I think some people don't like how they look. Let's see what a Portuguese one looks like. I haven't looked at this card in a while. But Yeah, I think this card looks amazing. I think it looks pretty cool. It's got pretty cool textures. But if you don't want to invest into this version, not Portuguese, but like the collector's rare, the secret rares are really cheap as well right now. I think like the reprint secret rares are like $6-7, something like that. We'll take a look at some point, but Solemn Strike is really cheap right now just because it's not seeing a lot of play, but it's gonna be a card that's always gonna see play in separate formats. It's just a little slow right now. And it's a really fast game, the current format. I think that's about all the collector's rares that I want to cover in here, but we'll skip to the next page real quick just to make sure. But I think, yeah, if you wanted Solemn Strike, $40 is pretty good. I don't think you're going to get it much better than that. Overdance at 50, I would not know, just no. And that's going to be it for the, I guess, Fateful Adventure at 35. It's just kind of always been at 35. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's just going to stay where it's at. And Amazing Dragon, not a chance I would spend 40 on it. This was like 25 on release. Let's move along here. I guess I didn't put this in the market watch because we've covered it already, but I just wanted to quickly hint that DD Crow is now $12-13, maybe at lowest. So if you have them, like for the ultra rare Auto Duel Devastator, I would consider selling extra copies. And if you want to play it, of course, keep whatever you need to play. But I don't think you're going to see the Duel Devastator ultra rare above $15. So you might as well just go ahead and sell off extra copies. I sold all of my DD Crows, so I'm not playing it anyways. And that's kind of the game I play with hand traps. I just pick them up when they're not seeing play and sell them all off when they are. It just depends though as well. Like you can't really do that with Ash Blossom, but even Ash Blossom I only have one copy of right now just because I know it's getting reprinted in the Mega 10, so it's just not worth having it right this second. Pot of Extravagance. So the original print secret rare for lightly played first edition is going for around 18 to 20. I know this is a direct player, but I looked at it yesterday and you can't really find them for lower than like the 18 to 20 range. They've always kind of stayed above that price. Which is fine. If you want them, that's fine. I just personally would rather have the Prismatic Secret Rare, which is going for $7, which I think is an absolute steal. I will be going in on this tomorrow with the 10% back. But yeah, these were going for like $30-35 at one point. It's just really good to get it for $7. Ultra Rare is going for like $5 to $6. Not bad either if you just like P.U.N.K Chaos, but I wouldn't get an unlimited. Like, absolutely don't get an unlimited of this card. Gold rares, I would get rid of them. Not worth having. And then the commons are going for $2, $1.50 to $2, which is pretty good. A really good budget option for players, especially if you're, a budget player that's playing stuff like Altergeist or Flunderies. I kind of forgot this card is kind of still seeing play because budget Flunderies players still play Pot of Extravagance for sure. Flunderies is just such a good deck. I need to cover that as well too, because I think Impins were. I bought mine for like $8. I think they're now towards like 11 or 12. So slowly moving there, but they will be getting reprinted, I imagine, in September in the Mega 10s. But yeah, just keep your eye on Pot of Extravagance. I'm hoping they'll give us a ultimate rare at some point of this. But if you're going to give me a choice between this and an ultimate rare for Prosperity, I would go with Prosperity. You do have a collector rare for this card, but I think it's like 110, 115. It's not too bad. It's from P.U.N.K Chaos as well. But that's going to be it for today's market watch. Taylor, I know you gave me some cards to look over, but we already kind of had a full list. So I'll put those in the next market watch. I probably won't be doing one this weekend because I have visitors coming in town. If I do get the Power of the Elements today, I'll try to film that, even if I don't put it up today. But I hope you guys have a good weekend if I don't see you again. And peace.